Шановні колеги, продовжуємо нашу роботу. І наразі Наталія Бистра, керівник прес-служби Державної служби України з надзвичайних ситуацій, розкаже нам.
Dear colleagues, Nataliya Bystra, a spokesperson for the State Service of Emergency Situations, will tell us about the current work that the service does in the anti-terrorist operation zone. Good morning. In the eastern regions of Ukraine, the works continue on the restoration of life support for the population in towns and settlements that suffered most from the actions of terrorists. All the measures are taking place in the closest cooperation between local authorities and the state's emergency service. In Luhansk region, the repair brigades over the last days were conducting repair works in Stanitsa Luhanska and Valuiska on the electricity lines. According to the information from the Luhansk State Administration, Regional State Administration, in the village of Popasnivka, Novotashkivka, they have restored the electricity supply lines, while the infrastructure and houses in this settlement are destroyed. Thanks to the organized work of emergency brigades, the water supply was partially restored to the settlement several weeks ago. However, for almost 2 months, the people there were without electricity. And the problem was that the approaches to the electricity lines were mined, and it took some time for pyrotechnic units to clean the territory. The work of pyrotechnics and repair brigades gave its results. There's electric light on the central streets of Novotashkivka, and according to the information of the state administration of Luhansk region, there's one settlement in the region controlled, in the territory controlled by the authorities, where there's no electricity. This is one of the settlements next to Debaltseva. They also conduct work on restoring the partially stopped gas delivery in Popasna and Stanitsa Luhanska. The settlements of Trochizbenka, Krakivka, Skolniki are still without gas at all. They continue the works on restoring the water supply in Popasnyansky and the Novoidarevsky district, and the emergency repairs works are continuing in Donetsk region as well. 10 populated centers of Yasenuvata district still remain without electricity and other supplies. The brigades of energy specialists are conducting repair works on the second air line of electricity supply, which delivers electricity to Avdiivka Koksochemical plant, and one of the lines of electricity supply is already working. In the city of Avdiivka, the brigades of gas and water supply and the housing community service are conducting repair works, and electricity supply has been partially restored to the city. In Krasnohorivka and Artemivsk over the weekend, the repair and restoration works were conducted by repair brigades, and the airline of electricity supply was switched on that allowed to partially restore electricity supply to the city of Debaltseva. At the moment, they are repairing the rest of air electricity supply lines in order to completely restore electricity supply to Debaltseva. However, the repair works will go on on condition of providing the green corridor. I want to emphasize that the brigades of repairmen are working in close cooperation with pyrotechnical units who search the territory every day, including residential blocks and the places where the supply systems were damaged. Over the recent days, the pyrotechnics have searched almost 3 hectares of territory in Luhansk and Donetsk region. They have defused 36 units of ammunition, including 1 artillery projectile, 12 grenades and mines, and the like. From the beginning of this year, the pyrotechnics have searched more than 90 hectares of territory in Luhansk and Donetsk region, and they have defused more than 1,600 explosive devices and rounds of ammunition. There is no mass resettlement of people from the eastern regions of Ukraine. However, every day to our transit points in Slovyansk and Konstantinivka and into our regional headquarters, people who are leaving dangerous territories on their own are coming to our points, transit points, where they get psychological, medical, and social help, where the psychologists of the State Service for Emergency Situations work. The people are offered to go to other regions of Ukraine. They are offered temporary dwelling, and their social needs are being taken care of. Over the recent days, to transit points deployed in Slovyansk and Konstantinivka by the State Emergency Service, 52 people came, including 6 children and 2 people with limited capacities. And these are people, local people from Alchevsk, Svetlodarsk, Mogorlivka, Makivka, and Chernohina. People were given free travel to the places they chose in other regions of Ukraine. And in total, since the transit points in Slovyansk and Konstantinivka started to function, 4,500 people got help there, including almost 500 children. They all got help, temporary dwelling in other regions of Ukraine, and social guarantees. At the same time, local authorities and rescuers continue to provide help to people who remained in the territories of Luhansk and Donetsk regions. One of these days, an emergency restoration group of Sergei Lavrinenko, together with the Red Cross representatives, have visited the city of Popasna in Luhansk region, and they delivered more than 4 tons of humanitarian aid to local residents, including personal hygienic means, blankets, wheelchairs, and some foodstuffs. After continuous shelling, the city sustained heavy damage. According to the representatives of the Red Cross, at the moment, almost 1,000 residents of this city live in shelters, and only in the cellar of the House of Culture, 35 people, including little children, have been staying for quite some time. All the people in shelters need urgent help, including psychological help. This is why the rescuers have talked to local authorities about the involvement of our psychologists to work with those people. We are strictly controlling this issue, and the residents of the city won't have to face their problems on their own. Any questions? Radio Liberty. I was talking to volunteers this day as who were delivering humanitarian help, and this is the question from them rather than from myself. Can they directly contact the points in Konstantinivka and Slovyansk? Do they need any passes, any permits to go there? No, they don't. In Slovyansk and Konstantinivka, you don't have to get any permits or passes, but just before you go there, we request and we ask volunteers to coordinate their actions with our regional headquarters. This is going to be easier for them. I have two questions. You have at least several times said that psychologists from the emergency service work with them. But do you involve volunteers? Because I don't know how many psychologists there are in your service, but I think that probably they are not very numerous. If you involve volunteers to provide psychological help, what are the figures and what's their attitude? Yes, of course, volunteers help us very much. We cannot cope relying only on our forces. Volunteer psychologists do help us very much. How many of them do you know? Just to understand how massive, large-scale this phenomenon is. There are almost 20 psychologists in our transit points. This is too little, and there's probably as many volunteers. Several weeks ago, I was at the Congress of Small Towns of Ukraine, and from several mayors of small cities, I heard that they have an initiative, and some of them are already doing this, about the help with construction materials and even working in the liberated territories. And the builders go there, construction workers. I heard about 2 or 3 such cases. How massive this phenomena is. I can tell you that most of regional administrations do help with building materials. Almost every week some region would send construction materials to Donetsk and the Luhansk regions, but you know, I can't be very specific, but I do know that such things happen. Thank you